Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's morning time for me in Australia, just before 10 a.m. I'm not normally a morning person, so we'll see how this goes. I might try to do this quite regularly. So what I've done is I've woken up. I've well, it's still in the process of doing so, to be honest, and I've scanned some articles and I've found quite a few. So I've got 20 articles racked up. Some of them are from yesterday, but most of them are for today. We're going to go through them. Going to give some trigger warnings to begin with. Dark subjects. Every last one of them is a dark subject. It involves murder. It involves child murder. It involves torture. There's violence. There, I'll be playing a video or two here and there, which is going to be pretty graphic. Some of them. So all of that. I'm also going to try to keep things fairly light, fairly light. We're going to move through things pretty quickly, pretty swiftly. Um, I mean, quite obviously, condolences to all of the victims, all of the victims' families concerned. I perhaps won't say that after each article because it can become a little bit draining, but I am trying to be respectful. These cases do touch me, some more than others. They are terrible and they do show evil that seemingly exists in the world. In any case, I'll stop rambling at this point. I'll go into the first article. Actually, no, I won't. I'll give you a quick reminder that if you do need a mental health break, and I mean that with all seriousness, by the way. I mean, I think we all do. I mean, especially if you're consuming this dark content, then at some point there's a good chance you need a mental health break. Um, and you can do, maybe you've got some hobbies, maybe you've got other outlets, but if you don't, let me recommend a couple of YouTube channels to you.
Good evening, everybody.
Ignore that. So here we go. Here's Bella at the end of the day. So I think, well, I suppose I'll put the link right there if anyone's interested in there. She has a very nice community chit chat based, talking about this, talking about that, a little bit of personal vlog based, I guess, but talking about politics, what's going on in the world. Here's another similar channel on YouTube, kind of whatever, with Jenny and Lottie. They do live streams fairly regularly, and it's nice and chill, nice and relaxed. Trying to have a little bit of fun in this dark world. And if you like politics, you might, which, as I was saying, is a load of nonsense. It's on a hiatus for a little while, for a week or two, perhaps. It's on a hiatus.
If you like politics,
what's going on there? All right, there we go. Um, all right, so everything seems back to normal now. All right, so that's enough jibber jabber, I guess. Enough jibber jabber. Let's have a look at the first article. Actually, I'll just remind you, if you're not subscribed, please do. Please do. Need a little bit of encouragement. And thank you to those that do give me encouragement. And you know who you are. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to start off with a few missing persons articles here. By the way, I perhaps should have stated I've not read through all of the articles. I've given most of them at least a quick glance, but I've not looked through them. So we'll be looking through these for the first time together. Missing clubbers final selfie. Police release 18-year-old woman's photo in an urgent bid to find her after she was last seen leaving a club at 2 a.m. this morning. So I guess that's perhaps referring to yesterday. I'm not sure. This is in Bracknell in England. Police have launched an urgent appeal after an 18-year-old woman went missing in the early hours of this morning after a night out. Marnie Clayton. Let's just Google Marnie to see if there's any updates there. No, there's no updates. There's no updates. So Marnie Clayton was last seen leaving the Attic nightclub in Windsor, Berkshire, at around 2 a.m. Her family reported her missing after she never arrived home, and now Thames Valley Police are appealing to the public to help find her. Officers have released the last photo of Marnie from Bracknell, Berkshire, which was taken hours before she vanished. So a very up-to-date photo there. Looks like they'll probably provide us a description in a moment. There's another photo. She's 18. Here's the Attic nightclub where she was last seen. 2 a.m. this morning. I think that refers to yesterday morning in the UK. It shows the blonde-haired teenager wearing an off-the-shoulder grey dress while posing for a selfie. Police are growing increasingly concerned for her welfare and say the disappearance is out of character. Detective Chief Inspector John Grunin said, "I would also like to appeal directly to Marnie. If you see this appeal, please contact your family or the police to let us know you are safe and where you are." So here's Marnie. Miss Clayton, Marnie Clayton, is white with brown hair and a slim build. She's between 5'2" and 5'4" tall, and was last seen wearing a grey dress. She is known to frequent Reading town centre. So Reading's a little bit outside of London. Okay, so there's Marnie. Obviously, we wish her the best. I'm going to say this, and hopefully it's not too inappropriate, but she's not been missing for that long, which is a good sign. I mean, the longer they're missing, the worse things are likely to be. So, she could be fine. She could be fine. She could be safe and well. Let's hope that she is. And of course, if anyone does know anything, then to contact the Berkshire Police, because Marnie Clayton, 18 years of age, has gone missing. All right, so let's have a look at the next article, which is again a missing persons article. Disappearance of a girl, 9 years of age, missing for 4 days, is being investigated as a possible homicide as police declare a wedding venue a crime scene. They question her mum's fiance and they seize a boat and a car. Well, that doesn't sound very promising. The disappearance of a 9-year-old girl from a lavish property is now being investigated as a homicide after a boat and a ute being a pickup truck, basically, were seized by police. Charlize Mutton was staying with her mother, Callista Mutton, when she vanished on Thursday at a sprawling private wedding venue owned by the family of her fiancé, Justin Stein, who was interviewed by investigators on Saturday. Charlize and Callista, who live in Queensland, were on holiday in Sydney and were at the exclusive property dubbed Wildenstein by the Stein family at Mount Wilson in Sydney's Blue Mountains. Okay, so Sydney's Blue Mountains, lovely place. There is no suggestion the 31-year-old is in any way involved in the child's disappearance. Investigators are now treating the case as a potential homicide with extensive searches underway near the multi-million-dollar property, which is surrounded by dense bushland. We are very distressed, a family source said. There's the 9-year-old girl, Charlize Mutton. So, oh, hey, Infinite. Hello there. Good morning or good afternoon for you. Good late afternoon. Good late afternoon. Oh, hang on.
Good evening.
Yeah, we're just talking about this. So, well, we being you and I at the moment. This 9-year-old girl, Charlize Mutton, has gone missing. She lives in Queensland, but they're on holiday in Sydney. with her family, and the police are treating it as a potential homicide, which is quite concerning. New South Wales Police told the Daily Mail that all lines of investigation remain open in this baffling case. The girl was last seen on Thursday at the property, but she was not reported to police until 8:20 a.m. on Friday. A full-scale search began within hours, and police now hold grave concerns for her safety. The missing girl is described as being of Caucasian appearance, between 130 to 140 centimeters tall, thin build, brown hair, brown eyes. It is believed she was last seen wearing a pink top with a round neck collar, a black knee length skirt, and pink Nike thongs. Investigators are treating the manicured 12-acre property, including the residential buildings on it, as a crime scene. Police drivers scoured a pond at Wildenstein, which is run by Justin's brother, James Stein. They also seized a white boat used on the property and analyzed it for fingerprints. The boat is also understood to be subject to ongoing forensic testing. Police confirmed that homicide detectives are now investigating Charlize's strange disappearance. The police dog, Pole Air, police rescue, divers, and Blue Mountains local police are all involved. Officers on off-road trail bikes have also been deployed across the property and are searching for the surrounding area. It still remains unclear how Charlize went missing, with hundreds of police and volunteers searching the dense bushland. Okay, so the rescue team have been working non-stop from Friday night. They're expected to continue over Saturday into Sunday. We're now on Monday morning in Australia. This is clearly a beautiful property, a magnificent property, a wedding venue. No arrests have been made. All lines of inquiry remain open. Particularly disturbing. Good evening, Infinite. She wasn't reported missing till the following morning. Not good. You perhaps have a better understanding of these things than I do, but I would have thought that's fairly reasonable. But no, you're probably right. Not for a 9-year-old. No. Yeah, that's not good, is it? Yeah, why wouldn't you want to know where your 9-year-old child is during the course of the evening? I do find it a bit disturbing. Like, the police are treating it as a potential homicide. They seem to be treating it particularly seriously. And I wonder why. I mean, because people do go missing, don't they? And then they turn up. I should imagine that they have some reason or reasons to believe that there may have been a homicide, some level of evidence. That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. I don't know too much about these things. I'm just some idiot reading through some articles. And let's have a look at the next one. Police launch appeal to find a missing girl, 17 years of age, who was last seen at a London hospital 2 days ago. So the 17-year-old is called Sydney. Police have launched an appeal to find a missing teenager who was last seen at a London hospital 2 days ago. Sydney, there she is, 17 years of age, was last spotted at St George's Hospital in Wandsworth, southwest London, at 7 p.m. on Thursday. The Metropolitan Police launched a social media appeal on Friday morning, asking for the public's help in finding Sydney, who is from Tooting in Wandsworth. And now my browser's fucked up again. Sydney is understood to have links to Surbiton in Kingston upon Thames and Thornton Heath in Croydon. Members of the public are asked to dial 999 to see if to give any information. So she's been missing since 7 p.m. on Thursday. Hang on. Yes, she's been missing since 7 p.m. Thursday, UK time. I've just done a check a minute ago, and I couldn't actually find any updates. But so seemingly she's still missing. There she is, 17 years of age. Of course, if anyone has any information, call the local authorities. Someone is hiding something, not reporting the 9-year-old girl, not reporting her missing straight away. Says someone was buying time to get rid of her. Oh, yes. Someone was buying time. Yeah, I mean, why would you? I don't know. I mean, if you're a parent and your child is missing, then you kind of would. You would want to get the police involved, wouldn't you? You'd want to get the police involved. You'd certainly get the hotel staff involved. I mean, this property, is an amazing property. Look at that. I mean, that's beautiful. And it's within dense bushland, so you wouldn't want the child to wander outside of the premises. Yeah, Infinite would do the right thing. She would have involved the authorities immediately. Yes. Look, it's a stunning property. If someone was buying time, then that would have been one of the parents, wouldn't it have been? Like, because it's the parents' responsibility to contact the authorities. Yes, I hope these young girls are found safe. So we've got Sydney, 17, and Marnie Clayton, 18 years of age. So hopefully they're all found safe. I mean, I've been doing this true crime channel for the last few months, and quite a few of the missing people do turn up. Quite often, I see an article, in the evening, and then in the morning, the person's been found. So um, that seems to be the case more often than not. So we can. So at this point, I'm quite confident. Yes, Infinite's assuming that one of the parents is hiding something. All right. Well, you might well be right there, Infinite. Let's hope you're not, of course. Let's hope the little girl has just wandered around. Maybe she's fallen asleep somewhere. We don't know, but we'll find out. I'll keep an eye on these missing persons cases, and I will try to provide an update. But of course, I'm just an idiot, so I might not get around to do it. So let's have a look at this sad story. A 7th grader is dead after overdosing on fentanyl at a Connecticut school where dozens of bags of powdered opioids were found. The 13-year-old boy, whose name has not been released, died around 5:30 p.m. Saturday at a hospital. He had been in grave condition since Thursday when he collapsed in a gym at the Sports and Medical Science Academy in Hartford. A school nurse performed CPR on the boy, who was unconscious until medics arrived and brought him to Connecticut Children's Medical Center. Investigators say evidence of fentanyl was found near the boy. 2 other students who may have been exposed to the opioid were hospitalized for observation after reporting dizziness. Those 2 other students were both 12 years old. Police say they believe all 3 students encountered the substance around the same time. Officials evacuated the school and took steps to ensure that students were not contaminated before bringing in drug-sniffing dogs to search the building. The search yielded 40 small bags of apparent fentanyl powder, which were discovered in the gym and 2 classrooms, according to the television station. Authorities believe students brought the drugs into the school. No arrests have been made, and police are continuing to investigate. So, of course, condolences to the family. That's pretty shocking, isn't it? Authorities believe students brought the drugs into the school. So what? The 12, 13-year-old students? I mean, I used to dabble in casual drugs when I was younger, not at 12, 13. That's way too young. Um, how can kids of that age have access to 40 bags of fentanyl powder? I mean, perhaps it's the older kids had it, and these younger kids stumbled across it, or such. But that is nuts. I'm not an expert in fentanyl. I didn't realize fentanyl. I wasn't 100% sure that fentanyl was sold as a drug itself. I thought it was mostly added to other types of drugs, often unknowingly to the user. But yeah, seemingly it's a thing on its own. And isn't it supposed to be stronger than heroin and similar to heroin, in some sense? I just can't. It just strikes me as mad that there are 12, 13-year-old boys that are knowingly taking fentanyl. I mean, maybe they weren't knowing. Maybe they didn't know what it was at all. I mean, certainly they wouldn't have had a full awareness. But that's crazy. And how the hell do they get 40 small bags of the powder? I mean, that's either these kids are, or some of the older kids, or whomever. But that's proper drug pushing. You know, when I used to smoke weed, but you'd have a bag, or in England, you used to buy hashish. You'd get some resin, and it wasn't easy to get because it's illegal. So you got to know someone, and you got to meet him down some dark alley. And if you're young, even if you're a few years older than 12, 13, if you're 14, 15, 16, 17, you don't have money, you don't have access to money that much if you come from background that I did. So you're scrabbling to get enough money. I mean, my point is, you would not have access to 40 small bags of any type of drug, you know. Okay, so Infinite's letting us know a little bit about fentanyl. Fentanyl is a huge problem in the US right now. Loads of drugs are also being spiked from fentanyl unknowingly to the users. Yes. Mac Miller, the hip hop artist, he died after, I think he was taking ecstasy, Molly, whatever it's called. I think that's what it was, but it was laced with fentanyl. And it's laced with fentanyl because apparently fentanyl enhances other drugs. It enhances the intensity. A few cops overdosed on fentanyl as well just by searching people's belongings. That's terrible. So I mean, that could be the case here. These boys stumbled across the bags. Oh, what's this? And then, they're influenced it. I mean, that's what it sounds like, particularly with the 12-year-old boys feeling dizzy. You're a young child, boy or girl, you do silly things. So maybe if you see a small bag of white powder, you taste a little bit of it, or you
Good
sniff a
evening,
little bit of it.
everybody.
You know, I smoke weed daily, but that's due to my depression and nausea. I get it legally through the states. Well, I'm sorry to hear about the depression and the nausea. Yeah. No, that's good. I don't smoke weed. I used to, but I think I have no issues with people smoking weed. I do think some people do it to excess, smoking throughout the day. I don't think it's morally wrong. I just think I think those people that smoke throughout the day, take bong hits every few minutes. Um, I don't think there's anything morally wrong with it, but I just think it's just not healthy. I can only imagine that it's stops people. It inhibits people's thinking, their mentality. Um, but certainly casual use, I'm all for. People inhale fentanyl. They do it also in the UK, sadly. Yeah, I mean, apparently, arguably, China is responsible for the pushing of fentanyl, the manufacturing of fentanyl, and then it gets shipped all across the world. But it is crazy to me if people, how why are these young kids buying into fentanyl? What's so fucking good about it? Just stick with some proper normal drugs like acid and ecstasy and things. Drug dealers are purposefully spiking other drugs with fentanyl. Uh, if fentanyl gets in your pores, you can overdose on it, or if it's in the air around you. Yes, I had cancer for 7 years. Sorry to hear that. The nausea never left my body. I suffer from extreme nausea, hence why I smoke the weed. Yes, so I can eat. Right. So it calms the nausea and gives you an appetite too. I'm cancer free now. Woot woot. Well done. I don't wish cancer on no one. No. Nope. 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 No. They're not buying into fentanyl. The poor victims have no idea it's spiked. Um, yeah, but some of them aren't they? Yeah. Like I think this is 40 bags of fentanyl. That's telling me that people are buying fentanyl as a standalone drug. I know it's added to other drugs unknowingly to the user generally, but I think it's also, people buy it as itself, if I'm making any sense, which I may not be. Anyhow, let's move on. This is a tragic story. Let's just adjust that a little bit. This is a tragic story. Okay. NYPD, New York Police Department, have arrested a homeless man accused of shoving an Asian woman to her death in front of an oncoming subway train in Times Square. Simon Marshall, 61, this guy, this POS, is charged with second-degree murder. Oh, that reminds me. Hang on. All right, that reminds me. Okay, Infinite, congratulations on being cancer-free, and as a reward, you have now been deemed ordained a moderator. So congratulations, double congratulations. If people are purposely buying fentanyl to get high, God help them. Yes, yeah, I think that's what's happening here, Infinite. Yes, there's plenty of pieces of shit on this planet. There are, but some people take it to different levels, don't they? So Simon Marshall is at the top of the piece of shit tree. So he's charged with second-degree murder after the Saturday morning incident at around 9:40 a.m. in Manhattan, when a woman was killed at the southbound NQR&W platform at 42nd Street and Broadway. Police have identified the woman as Michelle Alyssa Go, 40 years of age, who lived on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. This piece of shit, has a history of mental illness and told reporters to go fuck yourself as he was walked out of a Midtown precinct, declaring himself God. I don't really know that we need to know that he said "go fuck yourself" to the reporters. I mean, that's not really significant. The significant thing is he killed somebody. You know, he pushed someone, an innocent lady, to their death in front of a train. I don't think we need to worry so much about him using profanities to reporters. Anyhow, he claimed she stole my fucking jacket. That's why. I mean, is that true? Even if it is true, obviously it doesn't justify murder, but it's almost certainly not true, I would think. NYPD commissioner said the attack was unprovoked and the victim does not appear to have any interaction with the subject. The victim was remembered fondly on Saturday night as a good soul. Everybody at Ruxton Towers liked her, said an anonymous acquaintance. She was a good soul, a nice person. She didn't deserve this. Well, that's right. I can go with that. I've never met this lady. I don't know this lady, but I can certainly say she didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve waking up that morning, going on her way to do some errands or go to work, whatever it was she was doing, and then be pushed in front of a train. She did not deserve that. Um, so this guy has got a criminal history. He's previously served 2 years in state prison. And the article gives us some more details, but I think that's as much as I need. The article is mentioning that the horrifying attack.
Good evening, everybody.
Comes as crime in the subway and around the city continues to soar at the beginning of the new mayor's term, Alvin Bragg, who had a really smart idea of downgrading burglary, armed robbery, and drug dealings to misdemeanors. You, pardon my French, infinite, but what a fucking moron. You're the New York mayor and DA, the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, but supported by the new mayor, Eric Adams, decided to downgrade burglary, armed robbery, and drug dealings to misdemeanors. Fucking moron. Pardon my French. Crime in New York City. Oh, that's a 25% increase, give or take. Oh no, 33%. Some good news. Shooting victims. You've only had 31 so far this year. 30% increase in overall crimes. 25% increase in robbery. Do you think reducing robbery down to a misdemeanor might have something to do with the 25% increase? I am honored. Yes, you shall be honored. You ought to be honored. I will respect this ranch and you and your channel. Thank you. You're welcome. New York City is a disgusting place to live because of the scum we have running the states. Yep. I mean, I don't know. I've got no intention of traveling to America at any point, but my impressions of New York City would be a major reason why I've got no interest in going. Because my impressions of New York City is that it's overpriced. It's pretty boring. I mean, like Sydney. I live in Sydney, right? Sydney's beautiful. If you're a tourist, Sydney's great. But when you live here, you live in one suburb or another. You don't go into the Sydney Harbour every day. I used to actually, but typically you don't. You don't see these beautiful parts, the beaches. You don't see them or every day. Most days you live in your boring suburb. You go to your little mall, your local mall, your local high street, which is much the same as any other high street anywhere else in the modern world. You know what I mean? Like it's not lovely living in Sydney. Uh, There are certain parts of Sydney which are truly beautiful, but your general life, you're not really exposed to it, basically. And with New York, what we're supposed to be excited about the humdrum. Oh, look, it does the city that never sleeps. Okay, get over it. I don't know. It's just like nothing attractive there for me. And you have this high crime. So I don't know. It's just not attractive. Don't holiday in New York City. Nothing to see here. The city is not what it once was. Yeah. I mean, it's all this hype. The major cities, that it is hype. It's literal hype. They market themselves. They have multi-million dollar marketing budgets year in year out. These cities market themselves as being wonderful destinations, and it's all a load of shit. Really, it's all a load of shit. It's like London. It's given this impression that these cities are paved in gold. They're not. They're San Francisco paved in dog shit. No, sorry, scratch that. San Francisco paved in human feces. Sure, I mean the Golden Gate Bridge looks quite beautiful when you look at it from a certain angle, but I mean that's the thing to do. Just look at some postcards. Seriously, I don't feel the need to go and travel to these places just to throw money around, lose money just for a fleeting moment of a nice view. Fuck that. It's all a load of hype. Anyway, enough of my rambling nonsense. Let's move on to this next article. So this is in England, Derbyshire. A murder investigation has been launched after an 86-year-old woman was killed and her husband left fighting for his life after a suspected botched burglary in a Derbyshire village, England. The elderly couple, named locally as Frida Walker and her husband Kenneth, 88 years of age, were attacked in their semi detached home in Langwith Junction on Saturday. Mrs. Walker was pronounced dead at the scene. Mr. Walker, a local politician who used to represent the Langwith ward on Shirebrook Town Council, and is the former chairman of Bolsover District Council, remains in intensive care with life-threatening injuries. He had celebrated his 88th birthday on Thursday. Derbyshire police said there was a serious level of violence used against the couple during the attack, which officers were first called to at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. Local residents have been told to lock their doors and windows. That's terrible, man. So the 86-year-old lady, Frida Walker, has been murdered, and um, her husband, Ken Walker, has been severely injured during a botched robbery, reportedly. That's terrible. Okay, so that's terrible. So obviously, condolences all around. I hope the police catch these pieces of shit
Goody.
and give them a proper sentence. Infinite. 90% of New York City is trash, sadly. It really is. Only good thing about New York City is a neighboring island called Long Island. Long Island is beautiful, but that's about it. You've got the Hamptons. Hamptons too. Um, yeah. Yeah, Long Island is literally a long island. Um, I wish I lived in New Zealand, Australia, or England, anywhere but here. My family made a mistake by immigrating to the United States from Kosovo. rather than the United Kingdom somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in England, and I wouldn't be in a rush to go back there. Nope. Um, England is very pretty, like a lot of the town. A lot, not all, because I mean, so it depends where you are. The different suburbs, different areas. Some of them are just concrete jungles, just absolute awful, soul destroying places. But a lot of the towns are very quaint, very pretty, especially in the summertime. Not only in the summertime, but it suffers from um, England suffers from overpopulation, and I'll say this is political. It's suffering from a displacement of its culture. I mean, I'll put it in those terms. Yes, the Hamptons, basically at the end of Long Island. Okay, rich, super rich neighborhood. I have family who own a home in West Hamptons. Very nice. Yeah, I know a little bit about the Hamptons because I used to watch Howard Stern. So he would talk about going to parties where Paul McCartney and Tom Petty and John Bon Jovi, all of these guys would attend and perform and blah blah blah. They call New York City the concrete jungle. I mean, it's everywhere really. Um, it's everywhere really. Like to me, my mind, in my opinion, a lot of it is due to population. Um, New York City, the concrete jungle. If you think of Brooklyn, I'm no expert here. I just listen to hip hop, so I'll see a few hip hop videos and such. But you look at Brooklyn, right? O Block, whatever. I think that's Brooklyn. But you just see these so-called ghettos where they have, these apartment blocks, um, and from there within them, low education people, low income people, which tend to go hand in hand, and crime ensues, especially when your DA deems robbery not to be a problem anymore. Um, so yeah, problems exist, but it's the same with many other cities. You'll know from Kosovo. I don't know anything about Kosovo, to be honest, but even European countries, they have these areas, the ghettos, really, where they just have um, apartment blocks after apartment blocks built by the state, so they're quite perfunctory. Um, no real play areas for the kids, parks or such. So I don't know, it just happens all over. So if a country is overpopulated or if a city is overpopulated, it's a concrete jungle. Kosovo is populated by Albanians. Albanians are a warrior breed, I believe, as far as I understand. England is slowly losing its natural culture, sadly, yes. Yeah, I mean, quite literally. And, this is political, and some will find some of what I might say offensive, but they literally have to cover a statue of Winston Churchill, Sir Winston Churchill. The epitome, is that the right word? May not be. The epitome of Englishness to me. And they have to board him up to protect his statue from being attacked, vandalized, potentially destroyed by those that claim he's a racist. You know, to me, it's utter craziness. But that's what we've got to look forward to. It's not going to change. Um, Nothing special about Albanians. I'm teasing myself. Albanians are very similar to Anglo-Saxons. Are they? So you're an Albanian? Is that how it works? Albanians are literally from Kosovo. I can tell you a couple of Albanians. Martin Shkreli, and there's a boxer, Marco, can't remember his name, but he's very popular. I think a few of the UFC guys are Albanians, the big tough ones. I could be wrong. New Orleans police find woman's body chopped up in a man's freezer. This guy here, this is another top of the charts POS, Benjamin Beal. This guy here, what a scumbag! I haven't even read it. I already know he's a scumbag. I know he's a scumbag by his haircut. That's the giveaway. He's got a bit of a mullet. It's a mullet, really. You're a scumbag, mate. New Orleans police officers who were searching for a missing woman found a chopped up body in a freezer, a reciprocating saw covered in bits of flesh, and her wallet in a safe. Hang on.
Good evening, everybody.
Mika Dada reported his estranged wife, Julia Dada, 36 years of age, missing just before midnight on December the 23rd, according to New Orleans police. Mika Dada told police his ex had moved in with Benjamin Beal, a 33-year-old alleged meth and pot dealer at a house in Pauline Street, New Orleans, I believe. Police spoke with Benjamin Beal that evening, and he told them that he hadn't seen Julia Dada since December the 16th. He said they were having relationship issues of their own, and that he believed she may be suicidal. He told the responding officer that Julia Dada had moved out of his home but left her belongings and car behind. Yeah, because that's what people do, isn't it, Benjamin? People leave their house and they leave behind their car and their other belongings. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. On the 5th of January, Beal went to the police station and gave a contradictory statement on Julia Dada's disappearance, saying that he had last seen her on December the 12th. Here's a quote. It should be noted that Beal did not give any indication that he was worried about Julia or any indication that he attempted to locate Julia. He also told police that he waited to report her missing because he had lost his cellular phone and didn't have the means to contact the police. Yeah, pull the other one. You're a meth dealer, mate. We know that you've got burner phones coming out of your rear end. Police served a search warrant and saw extension cords running out the back and into a Chevrolet diesel bus parked in the yard, and inside they found a freezer and an ice box. In the freezer, investigators discovered the headless torso of what appeared to be an adult human female. She had suffered deep cuts that appeared to have been inflicted post-mortem after her death. In a nearby Coleman ice chest, police found what they said they found a reciprocating saw, which appeared to have bits of flesh and fluid on the blade. Nearby, they found goggles, a plastic face shield, and garbage bags. Police also found an alleged meth lab and illegal weapons. The crystals they found in the home later were tested positive for methamphetamine. So he's been held on a $400,000 bond, and he's facing a slew of charges, but not for homicide. That's a bit weird. The charges are for alleged obstruction of justice in the missing person case, distribution of meth and marijuana, illegal weapons possession, and running a clandestine drug lab. So I will guess, this is sheer speculation, I don't know what I'm talking about as per normal, but I would think that the police have a lot of evidence to be able to convict the guy for decades on these charges here, and they're perhaps just going to go for a plea deal or something like that, get him to pressure him to admit to provide a confession in regards to the murder. That's my feelings there. They're not going to let him get away with it. I would imagine, I would hope, I would be quite confident. So this scumbag decided to seemingly, allegedly, chop up his girlfriend. I knew he was a scumbag as soon as I saw the mullet. Infinite. Yes, my ethnicity is Albanian, handsome. But from Kosovo, you have good and bad everywhere and in every ethnicity. Absolutely. Between you and I, all right. I'd like you to reach out to a creator on YouTube named Blue Spooky and another called Let's Read so they can help you promote your channel to gain more subs. Okay, all right. Well, I'll check these guys out. To let you know, not really somebody I've never really, I think this is accurate. I've never really what am I talking about? I've never really sought help from others. I'm not that kind of person. I don't do that typically. Which is a bit silly, I'm sure. But I will look both of those guys up. And I am trying to gain more subs. I mean, between you and I, I'm quite enjoying doing. I'm quite enjoying doing YouTube, making videos, and also I'm quite enjoying this topic of true crime. I'm enjoying it, and I think I'm doing quite a good job of it. I think that it would be a good channel if I were to do regular live streams, much like this one, and also make some standalone videos. I think if I was to do that, and if I was to do regular live streams plus a good number of daily standalone videos, then I think it would be a worthwhile, valuable channel. You know what I mean? Like, it would provide a benefit to the subscribers, value to the subscribers is what I'm thinking. But it does take time, and I don't know if I've got the time to do it. So we'll find out. But I'm trying at the moment. 17th of January. I really should do some proper work, which I will. But I don't know, just in a bit of a things really aren't kicking off economy wise. So I'm just playing around with this here. Hang on.
Good evening, everybody.
For the record, even if a phone is not active, anyone can still ring emergencies such as 999, 911 for help, whatever your country's 3-digit emergency code is. Yes, it's a good thing to remind people of. Yeah, Benjamin. You could have, even if you didn't have any credit on your phone, you could still bloody use it. You lying piece of shit. You should. Toy don't have to though. You don't have to though. But I've observed that it's how many creators help one another gain traffic. Yes, yeah, for sure. With my political channel, White Cis Male, I have been fairly frustrated that there hasn't been any mutual support. Bella's supported me. She shouts me out on her channel, things like that. But just generally speaking, so really Bella's. I'm thinking the only exception, but there are other smaller channels which I've been active in as a, as a commentator, and that none of them have taken the time to check out my channel and say, hey, why don't we do something together or whatever. So I don't know, just a bit jaded by it, you know what I mean? Uh, it definitely takes time, unfortunately. Well, yes, it does. Yeah, it takes time to make the videos and shit, and it also takes time to let me just block this bot. Okay. Yeah, it takes time to make the videos, and also it takes time for a channel to grow. So what I try to do in general is I try to do things very, very simply. Um, so with my videos, they're very simple. I just read through an article, isn't it? That's all I'm doing. It's not complicated, and it's not consuming. I'm not doing any production. There's no editing. So I like that format. That works for me. Making a few quick videos because they can be quick to make. That works for me. But I procrastinate quite a bit because I think to myself, well, what's the point? I'm only going to get half a dozen views anyway, so what's the point? I'd rather play video games or whatever it is. You know what I mean? But as I say, I do at some points I feel demotivated, and at other points I feel this is quite good. Like I think I do. I like my live streams. I like them. I think I do a good job. If I compare myself to other live streams, not all live streams, but a lot of others, I prefer mine. I find myself more interesting than a lot of other people out there. I know that sounds very arrogant and narcissistic, but I just on an objective level, I do. I watch other people's live streams, and a lot of them are not very good. And I think I'm slightly better than not very good. Not much better than not very good, but slightly better. The reason why I've mentioned Blue Spooky is because they have nothing to do with the drama in the fake crime community that linger. Yes, I got no interest in the crime community. Yeah, no interest. I should imagine that there's a temptation to get interested because those guys get views. They get views, they build communities, and they get donos as well, donations. And it seems like a pretty crowded space. You've got all of these other. You've got the Krama channel content creators themselves. So let's not mention any names. We'll just throw Natasha Cooper's out there for now. You've got the actual channels, but then you've got all of these other channels that talk about the Krama community, And it seems to me at this point, there's more channels talking about the Krama community than there actually are content creators within the Krama community. That's how it seems to me. And I think there's a call for these commentary channels that do talk about the Krama community, that call them out and all of that. I do feel that there is call for that because, for example, Natasha Cooper. I'm not going to go in hard or deep. She seemingly has a lot of positives about her. She is entertaining. She entertains people. She is. She's got a nice speaking style. She's kind of lighthearted. She's got a nice yeah, she's got a nice way of presenting. She's somewhat entertaining. And the numbers don't lie. She gets big views. So that guarantees that confirms that she is entertaining. On the flip side, she's evil, so she is evil. I've seen her on her panel. You've got that a weirdo. I won't mention his name, but he likes to put blue paint on his face, and his daughter accused him of sexual abuse, and that's what he said himself. But that's fine. He's still allowed to be a significant figure in the crime community. Anyway, he was on Natasha Cooper's panel, and he was calling for the audience to attempt to dox somebody, to attempt to go real life on somebody. And Natasha Cooper was there. She didn't try to stop it. She didn't say, "Hey, buddy. Hey, you weirdo. You face painting creep. Don't do that." No, she didn't do it. She didn't do any of that. She just allowed it to happen. So, that's one reason why I feel justified in calling Natasha Cooper evil. But I don't want to get involved in the crime community. That's pretty much as much as I'll say on it. I'm not going to make videos on it. You're entitled to procrastinate. YouTube isn't paying you yet. Yes. Oh, hang on.
Good evening, everybody. Been a long day.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a hobby, but I think for me to get to a point where if I would like to have an active YouTube channel, I literally would like that. I would like to be paid by a YouTube channel. That would be good, because I think there's a lot of independence. If anyone were to have a successful social media platform that yields an income, even if it's just a secondary income, even if it's just a little bit extra, which helps, I think that's a good thing. And there are a lot of people on various social media platforms that do extremely well for themselves, amazingly well. And it seems to be a very small percentage of those people that do extremely well. Um, and I'm extremely unlikely to be one of those small percentages that do extremely well, but it's possible. And I've looked at some other YouTube channels which are in this true crime area, and I'm not impressed. Frankly, I'm not impressed. Some of the channels I am. Some of the channels that are mature, that put some thought into their videos, and they make nice videos with a little bit of editing. Um, they pass on some worthwhile knowledge. I respect those channels, but a lot of the channels do what I do, which is read through some articles, but they're not honest about it. They act as if they have insider knowledge when they don't. And I think I do a better job than at least some of them. You're not arrogant nor narcissistic. You know your self worth, morals, etc. I love your sound mind. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Uh, yeah, I try to be objective about things, and that includes myself. Try to be objective. Can't be 100% objective, but I think in general I've got good judgment, and I'm able to apply that to myself to some extent. Waving hello to the second person here watching. Hope you're having a good weekend. Well spotted, Infinite. Yes. I was wondering about the second person. Second person is welcome to say hello, should they wish. If it's Natasha, she can call me out if she wants. Whatever. But I'm going to carry on. I'm going to. How long have I been going for? This is more than an hour already. Oh yeah, going to carry on for a little while. I'll tell you what. I'll get a bit picky. Let's read. We'll just read through a few more, I guess. So I'll just choose some which I think are perhaps more interesting. All right. This one may be a little bit interesting. Investigators. Yeah, doubt it's Natasha. Yeah, of course. Investigators drop a bombshell twist after teens Burger King drive-through. drive-through slaying. When a 16-year-old girl was shot and killed while working at a Burger King drive-through in Milwaukee earlier this month, the horrific news reverberated around the nation. Tens of thousands of dollars in donations poured in, and Nisha Harris Brazel's devastated family wondered how she could be taken in the blink of an eye. So here's the victim, Nisha Harris Brazel, 16 years of age. She was shot and killed while working at Burger King. Hey, Roberto, it's me, Picker, and you know I like to lurk. Yes, Robert likes to lurk, and Robert is more than welcome to do as much lurking as he chooses. But after spending 2 weeks piecing together events, investigators have made the bombshell allegation in court documents that Harris Brazel was killed in a botched robbery that she had staged with her best friend and her best friend's father. Harris Brazel, a dedicated student at Pulaski High School, was working a shift as a cashier on January the 2nd with her best friend, who identified herself in media interviews as Maria Edwards. That evening, a black Chevy Impala pulled up to the drive-through window, according to surveillance footage cited by authorities in a criminal complaint. Harris Brazel turned to serve the supposed customer when the driver pulled a gun, demanding cash. The surveillance footage showed Harris Brazel back away and start to pull money from the register. The driver hoisted himself through through the window, waving a gun with one hand, reaching for cash. And essentially, he shot Harris Brazel, the girl. She was rushed to hospital and she was pronounced dead. This is odd. Investigators initially assumed that the hooded man in the window fired the shots that killed Harris Brazel, but a closer look at the video footage showed that the gun he was waving was never fired. Another camera mounted inside the restaurant revealed that the shots were fired from within the Burger King. As the robbery unfolded and Harris Brazel called for help, her co-worker, Derek Ellis, was quick to respond. A criminal complaint filed 4 days after the shooting alleged that Ellis pulled out a gun, took aim at the thief, and fired 2 shots. It appears that Harris Brazel was caught in the crossfire. This is a bit of a messy article to go through, but seemingly they staged a fake robbery. The fake robber didn't fire the gun, but one of the co-workers did, and in so doing, the 16-year-old girl, was shot and killed by her co-worker.
Good evening.
Accidentally. I feel sorry for the guy. I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for this guy, the co-worker, who inadvertently shot and killed the 16-year-old. I feel sorry for him because he's still going to go. He'll still get prison time, won't he? Because presumably it was negligent. He's been charged with murder. That seems harsh to me. Why am I feeling so sorry for a murderer? Murder? He didn't. There was no intent there. He didn't try to kill the girl. That just seems very unfortunate. He's a convicted felon who isn't allowed to possess a gun. I mean, sure, he's responsible for her death. Arguably, she's responsible for her own death. Is that really harsh? But arguably, she's responsible for her own death. If she's planned a staged robbery, which started these proceedings, the dominoes fell. One thing led to another. She's at least partially responsible for her own death. That's my read on this situation. And this guy, he's a felon. He shouldn't have had a gun. He was obviously very foolish to have fired a weapon. But maybe that's even harsh to say that he was foolish. Arguably, he's foolish, but at the same time, from his point of view, from his perspective, there was a robber pointing a gun at a 16-year-old girl, and he tried to protect that 16-year-old girl. He fucked up. He fucked up tragically. He is responsible for the girl's death. I mean, but he's not the only one. I don't know. That seems awful. If it was accidental, he most likely will not get any prison time. I hope not. Yeah, we seem to be on the same mind. But they want him for murder. That doesn't seem right. Should spend more time at the range to learn to aim better. Yes. He's a convicted felon with a gun. God help him. He might be looking at 20 years in prison, if not life. Yeah. Which, I mean, in some ways, it's understandable. He shouldn't have had a gun, and he somewhat foolishly fired, and as Robert points out, didn't have the best aim. But at the same time, his intentions were good, weren't they? He was trying to protect a 16-year-old girl. I'm going to just look at one or two more articles, and I'm also going to try to make some standalone videos. Some of the standalone videos that I'll make will be of the topics that I've gone through today, so you may not really get any benefit in watching them. But I'll go through this article here, and I'm going to play a video because Robert's here. We've got to give him a daily dose of violence. So we'll do that. I'm not going to play all of the video, but I will play some of it in a moment. We'll play some of it. All right. Bloody man armed with knife is shot dead after refusing commands by Los Angeles Police Department officers. This happened December the 26th at around 6:10 p.m. Officers responded to a Los Angeles Fire Department backup request for a combative suspect suffering from lacerations and puncture wounds to his neck. The suspect, who at the time of this news release had not been identified, refused to exit a vehicle he was seated in. When LAPD officers arrived at the location, the suspect immediately exited the vehicle armed with a large knife. The officers repeatedly told the suspect to drop the knife. The suspect did not comply, and while holding the knife in a raised position, walked in their direction, resulting in an officer-involved shooting. The suspect was struck by gunfire and fell to the ground. He was taken to hospital and pronounced deceased. No officers were injured. Okay, so there is a video here, and I have to provide a trigger warning. This is going to involve some shocking images, blah, blah, blah. Let's put it in theater mode. All right, and I'm not going to play it all.
Hello, I'm Captain Stacy Spell.
Hey, Casey, how you going?
It can be graphic and difficult.
May
Ruiz continued to walk toward the officer. Hey, drop the bag. Back up for him. Hey, drop the bag now. Drop the bag. Put it down. Hey, put it down. Put it down, man. Come on. You don't want to do this, man. Put it down. Put it down, man. Come on. Put the knife down. Put the knife down. Don't down. Okay, sit back. Are you two nine? Hey, put the knife down.
Put the knife down, buddy. Then they'll take you to hospital.
Look, we don't want to hurt you, man. Hey, don't move, man. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Hey, man. Don't move.
Good evening, everybody. It's been a long day. Thank you guys for coming.
Don't move.
Like, how many times have they said stop? Quite a few. Dude, you're getting too close, man. That is a motherfucker of a knife, which you're holding in, well, that's how you hold a knife if you want to stab someone. And I don't know if you noticed, buddy, but you're covered in blood. It's kind of off-putting, anxiety-inducing for the officers. They've asked you, this has been going on for more than a minute. They've been asking you to put the knife down. All you've got to do is put the knife down, mate. As soon as you put the knife down, yes, they will rush you. Yes, they will take you to the ground. Yes, they'll investigate you. They'll probably arrest you. But they'll also give you treatment. They'll also help you with this rather huge gash in your neck. You'll watch your tongue. You don't have to watch your tongue. So it's covered in blood.
This incident was also captured on the officer's body-worn video. Body-worn video cameras are used by most officers assigned to field duties. They are worn at chest level and capture a general perspective. Knife now! Put it down! Hey, put it down! Put it down, man! Come on! You don't want to do this, man! Put it down! Put it down, man! Come on!
Yeah, I agree, Robert. Like,
hey, put the knife down.
They showed him quite a lot of patience, in my opinion.
Put it down, man. Look, we don't want to hurt you, man. Hey, stop. Don't come towards us, man. Stop. 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 Hey, man, stop. Stop.
Did you go towards them with a knife?
Stop. Stop. Put the knife down. Stop. 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 One next 38 shots fired off needs help. Hey, don't move.
All three shots fired by the same officer. I'd question, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'd question whether 3 shots would be necessary. But having said that, the police, when the police shoot, they shoot for a reason. They're not doing it for the fun of it. They want to stop the perpetrator. So they do what they have to. That's why they don't. Robert, you'll back me up on this one. That's why they don't do like a warning shot, because they're not fucking around. This isn't about giving you second chances. Always shoot to kill. Always, shoot to kill. Is that quite right? Just shoot to kill? I mean, if you're trying to stop someone and they're dead, then they really are stopped, aren't they? Is that right though? Is that like actual fact? Known fact? Like, does the public? I'm not articulating this very well, but is it stated by the police departments that their policy is to shoot to kill? Is that a known thing? The public should know about that. I kissed their behind and obeyed and submitted to their demands. Sounds very kinky. And only after was I able to explain details to them, how sweetly I was respected back and got myself off charges, what I didn't do. Yeah, well done, Infinite. That's the way to do it. Comply, let them do their part of it. That's what any cop will tell you. Right. But it's not in the black and white, as it were. It's not written down. Is size up a coup and go head to head? Oh, okay. What I didn't do is size up a coup and go head to head and toe to toe with them. Fast forward a few years later, I'm friends with the same cops that arrested me initially. Yeah, I can believe that. I mean, if they were reasonable with you, they're in an extremely difficult position. Being, I don't know. These guys gave this guy, the police officers gave this guy every chance, and he's wasn't going to comply. And he's got a huge fucking knife in his hand, and he's getting closer and closer to the officers. Shoot to kill. I would think that's the smart thing to do. There was I saw another headline. I didn't read through it, but there was another situation of another female cop that said that reached for her taser and said, "I'm going to taser you," and then accidentally shot him. There's been another situation like that, apparently, over the last few days. Shoot to kill, definitely of the suspect, if the suspect is coming at you with a weapon. Right, yes. I had a female friend who had purchased a gun to protect herself from a violent person she knew. She asked a cop in San Diego if she should just shoot him in the leg to stop him. Right. I'm interested in this. Because when I was watching this clip, it did pop into my mind. Why didn't the cop just shoot in the air to be,
Good evening, everybody.
as a warning shot? But that has problems. Bullets go up and then they come down. George Floyd's niece got shot recently. She's only, is it 8 years old? I can't remember. Or 4 years old. And that potentially, I don't know, I'm speculating here, but that could have been because people in the local area were shooting in celebration of New Year's Eve, and bullets go up and then they come down. The officer told her, "No, always aim center mass at the chest to kill. Wounding may not stop him." Yeah. I mean, because you're only shooting to stop them. And yeah, like you say, wounding may not stop him, right? So that's why it's shoot to kill, because wounding may not stop them. Because we watch the movies and you get shot in the leg and then you're down, but in real life, that may not be the case. Especially if they're on meth or PCP or fentanyl or whatever. I've watched this from the Los Angeles Police Department YouTube channel. Is this like the actual... Oh, this is cool. I'm going to sub to this. Tough situation your friend is in. If he's on her property, I'd shoot to kill. That's just me. I was stationed on SD, San Diego, when I was active duty in the Marines. I was stationed on SD. What is SD? Infinite? So Infinite, there was a case fairly recently. Let me I made a video on it. Maybe you watched it, maybe you didn't. And it was about a pregnant woman. A pregnant woman, apparently, allegedly, was purposefully ran her car into a motorcyclist, and the motorcyclist followed. Oh, she refused to stop for the police. San Diego, California. No, that's all good. The lady that allegedly purposefully ran her vehicle into a motorcyclist refused to stay for the police to arrive so that they could apprehend her or investigate whatever. So the motorcyclist, as well as a couple of the motorcyclist buddies, so perhaps the motorcyclist was a part of a biker gang, but they followed her back to her home, and she went inside her home, and she came outside with a gun, and the motorcyclist who was allegedly hit by her was on her property, and here it is. The pregnant mom pointed a gun at the motorcyclist, and the motorcyclist shot her and killed her. But I found that an interesting topic. 89 subscribers, got a new subscriber. Nice.
Links in the description. I'm going to be going through.
I found that an interesting subject because the motorcyclist was on her property. But to me, like, the motorcyclist had a reason to be there because she had allegedly hit him with her car. And she died because she decided to point a gun at him, so he fired back. I was an MP, military police, when I was active. Pardon me, my lovelies. I should have stated so earlier. You've mentioned that you were in the Marines previously, Infinite. Is this individual still stalking or harassing your friend? Probably not, is my guess, Infinite. Probably not. Not when Robert's been brought onto the scene. I think they'd be inclined to back away, would be my thoughts. I know this story. The pregnant woman was actually the one in the wrong. The pregnant woman hit the biker and fled the scene. Yes. Yeah, actually, I nearly said something, but some people would find it offensive. I'll say it. Fuck that bitch. She shouldn't have fucking pointed a gun at the guy. I mean, I'm no lawyer, as is quite apparent, but it does seem like the biker shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been on her property. He would have been entitled to have stayed, outside of her property. So he was somewhat in the wrong, I would think. But she pointed a gun at him. So, I don't know. Seems kind of... it's like the dominoes falling. You point a gun at someone that you try to knock someone over, allegedly. You hit them when they're riding their motorbike, and then you point a gun at them. I don't know. I just can't feel too much sympathy for her. I had another friend shot in the back 7 times. Shit. By a pissed off girlfriend while we were in a bar. The gun was empty and she was trying to reload when I took the gun away from her. He survived. Wow. Okay, you were a hero there, Robert. Good for you. I'm glad your friend survived. I should imagine that he's disabled from that, I'd guess. What he did was follow her to get her license plate number.
Good evening, everybody. It's been a long day.
All right. Get her for her license plate number for a proper police report. But the sick woman wanted to act gangster, yes, exactly, and ran in her home, come back out shooting at him, and he shot back. Did she shoot? I don't think she shot. I don't think she fired the gun by memory. But she pointed at him, if I remember correctly. He was in the right. She was in the wrong. Fuck her. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that hoe. Also, she was in a gang. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. These incidents took place in the 70s. All right. So I'm just going to cover this last topic and then I'll wrap things up. This happened yesterday and it's all over now. So there was, and you guys probably are more familiar about this subject than I am. Hostage situation at North Texas synagogue ends with all hostages safe and the suspect dead. Oh, boo-hoo. So the situation began around 11 a.m. Saturday and lasted nearly 12 hours at the Congregation Beth Israel in the Dallas suburb of Colleyville. And this was quite the hoo-ha. I believe there was at least one explosion. Maybe I've got that wrong. But there was certainly a hostage situation. 4 hostages were taken, and they're all alive and well. Oh, that's great. I must have read some bogus news on this because I'd heard that there was an explosion and hundreds may have died. That doesn't seem right. So we can watch this little video here of the hostages escaping the building. Oh, there they are. They're running. Well, I don't know how interesting that video is, but they rescued all 4 of the hostages. That's good. And this next article tells us that they've identified who the culprit is. And this article doesn't really tell us, but this one does. They've identified, and it's this guy here. The hostage taker, identified as 44-year-old Malik Faisal Akram, a British citizen, was killed after the nearly 12-hour standoff. Oh, boo-hoo. And he was doing this, I've not read into this properly, but he was doing it. He wanted his sister to be freed. And if I have this correctly, I may not. His sister was involved with terrorism, and I think 9/11. She was arrested after 9/11. I think I may have that wrong. I may have been reading some bogus info. But his sister is known as Lady Terrorism or something. Anyway, that's what happened yesterday in Texas in a synagogue. A dramatic hostage situation went on for 12 hours. Thankfully, only Chief POS was killed. Good. Happy about that.
The lies of the subject.
Yeah. Robert tells us that he's not a hero. Robert, you're lying. She used a 22 and hit no vital organs. I was drunk and the shots hurt my ears and pissed me off. I grabbed the gun and said, that's enough of that. I love that you only got involved because the noise was annoying you. Biker bar in Imperial Beach, a couple miles from the Mexican border, happened a lot. Yes. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap things up there. Thanks for joining. I went for longer than I thought it would. So, like I say, I'm going to try to make some standalone videos, which you may not want to watch because I think I'll be just going over the ones that I've covered here. And I might try to do this quite regularly. I just think it's maybe quite good to do this, maybe not daily, but regularly. Just read through these articles and then I can go away and make standalone videos of them if I want. That's what I'm thinking. So thanks, Infinite. I'll check out those 2 YouTube channels that you mentioned if I find them. I'll have a look and maybe I'll contact them. I don't know. And that's about that. So good evening for you guys. It's your dinner time. I think it's your dinner time now. What is it? Yeah. I think it is for both of you. Go and have some dinner. I love you guys, Infinite. Please stay safe, yes, and keep yourselves warm from this winter cold. Right. Yes. Yeah, okay. Blue Spooky, let's read. Yeah, I'll check them out and see if I may decide not to do anything with it, but I'll have a look and we'll see what happens. So thanks, guys. Have a great evening.